The subject for today is going to be regarding competitions. How beneficial is it to compete? Are there any drawbacks? And what really is the perfect amount of competitions per year, or is it even beneficial to compete? That's what we are going to discuss. And the reason I'm even bringing this up right now is because I haven't competed since April, which is the longest sort of break I've taken from competition since I started sort of my calisthenics athletic career. And to be honest, there is one reason as well to why I choose to take this break. And the reason is because of your ability to plan and progress. The thing with competitions is that you have a fixed date, you need to be at peak performance. Whereas if you don't have any specific date, you can constantly be in the building phase. And that is something I've spoken a lot about before as well. And that is where you're not focusing really on the specific or performing at your highest, because there's a difference. You are focusing on building strength, you're building your connections, all of those stuff, which means that you might be eating slightly more, you might not be that lean, but you are building insane strength. And then when you need to cut down, all the results are going to be shown. But during this time where you just constantly can build, weights are going up, your holds are getting better, you're getting more strength. And this period is so beneficial for the long-term success. And that is the problem with competing at least too often, because you are not able to constantly grow. You have these periods where you need to be peak performance and you can't really progress that fast at that time. But then to the positive sides with competitions, because of course there are a lot of them as well. Number one is the fact that you get extreme motivation from being at these events. However, you don't always need to compete either. Just showing up on these competitions, events, you will still get a lot of motivation. But competing, it gives you a lot of motivation. Then the other thing is that it keeps you sharp. A problem with calisthenics, but to be honest, a lot of sports, to just achieve a high level is to actually stay that disciplined and consistent for a long time. And having competitions, you know that at this time I need to be at this specific level, or at least this is my goal. It keeps you really sharp. You have something clear to work towards, and for a lot of people that is useful, including myself, especially in the beginning. Just having a fixed goal that I know that this is actually where I'm gonna end up, or what I'm working towards. Otherwise, when you don't have anything, it's easy to just cut down slightly on the training and don't take it as serious. Whereas if you have competition, you don't want to show up and be in your worst shape. That's just not gonna happen. And that is really helpful. It keeps you sharp. Then of course, I would also say now, especially since I've been in this sort of industry for a while, you earn a lot of respect. Real recognizes real. So the people that I know have competed and they perform on stage, I know that they know their shit. Like, they are not just showing it on Instagram or social media, because anyone can show off like the peak training, they land a skill once or whatever it may be, and it may look like they are a really complete athlete. But in reality, to show off the same amount of skills in competition with just the surrounding, the area, the environment, it's so different, and it's really nerfing your level for a lot of people. But then there are a few ones that just really show the highest level there as well. They land their stuff even though they are under extreme pressure, and that is so much respect associated to it. And that is why, for example, Daniel Christoph, like, he's insane on social media as well, but his performances live, he just doesn't miss. And you have those athletes as well doing insane freestyle, which requires so much focus to actually land. All of them gain so much respect because they actually do it live and not only on social media. And that's one problem like with social media as well. For me to show one level on social media is one thing, but then to live up to that on a competition as well, that is so much harder, because you only have one chance. You can't fail. That is the thing. And I think that is one problem with just showing too much on Instagram, social media, all of those things. And I like the vlogs though, because that is really real. You get to see exactly who I am. But if you only show the peak stuff, when you're on competition and people are expecting you to perform at that level, it's hard to live up to, and that can be harsh. It's definitely a mental barrier to sort of go through if you're a influencer at the same time as an athlete. But now this is a bit side of the subject. But either way, you get a lot of respect. But then to the real question, how often should you really compete? And that is really depending on who you are and what your main goals are. I would definitely say that the enjoyment, the community, it has so many benefits from competing that enjoyment, that side of things is super helpful. Then you also have to consider, do you love doing the sport? Do you enjoy the progress? Which is what I really enjoy right now, is showing or getting those results in the gym. I don't necessarily feel the desire I have to show off and show how good I am relative to others. That's not really where I find my joy. I more find it in doing things now that I didn't think was possible back in the days. And that is in the period now where I'm just constantly getting better. The period without competitions. And it's so personalized what you want to do. But then again, it's definitely going to be a point for me where I feel like competition is definitely going to be this way for me to push even harder, especially becoming more complete with the freestyle as well, to just incorporate that. But in general also have something to work towards, because now I have had my goals, I work towards them, I've gotten a lot of results. But there is a point where you feel like competition is really something special. You feel like this is just the end, and if I can show off my skills here and I perform them well, that really means that I know how to perform it. But to sum it up, I think 1 or 2 competitions per year would definitely be the suitable for me personally, because then that is about 6 months in between the competitions, and that is a really good sweet spot in my opinion, because I love the training. And it all depends also, the higher up you go, the better you become as an athlete, the sort of percentual increase in strength and performance is slower and slower. In the beginning you progress a lot, and I think during that period in the beginning there's 2 sides of it. Either number 1 is going to be to get comfortable with competing, the pressure, the environment, so you want to show up to large competitions, and the other thing is that you just want to get better, so focusing on the training. So at that point it's really hard to say which one is the better. Either you're going to get really good and strong but be uncomfortable with competition and you might fail because of nervosity, or you might progress slower but you might be really comfortable on the stage. Might be in a more enjoyable phase if your end goal is to compete a lot. So I would say it's definitely really personalized, but you gotta have in mind, do I want to progress a lot? Why am I competing? Is it for enjoyment? Is it to prove someone? Or just like, I want to show off my freaking skills, which is definitely a valid thing to do. Or is it because you just love competing, meeting people as well? Then that is also such a valid reason to do it. Or is it because you just enjoy training, but you do want to compete from time to time? Then maybe 1 or 2 times per year is more than enough. But now I am pretty close to the gym, and it's going to be a front lever session. I am really looking forward to today's workout. Actually, I feel pretty strong in my back, so I'm expecting some front lever pull-ups to be valid. Then also the front lever touch, it feels really good. Just the last couple of weeks the connection is different. It's not even close to what it used to be. Before I really felt like I gave it all and just couldn't hold it, but now I do feel like the top hold is sort of like a safe zone. Like I actually feel comfortable there. Then again, of course, it's just a few seconds hold, but it's still a connection that I didn't have before. And then we're doing the weighted pull-ups, which is gonna be pretty awesome, and ending it with some lower back training, and might even add some Victorian as well. I said that last time, so today I will add Victorian. Let's just say it like that. All right, see you inside. First up, we have the front lever touch, but there's one thing. I've done a massive mistake, and it's the fact that I did a shooting yesterday at home and I forgot to put back my liquid chalk. So I have no chalk. For the top hold, it's gonna be fine even though it's false grip. For front lever pull-ups, slightly more difficult. For then the normal pull-ups without any chalk at all, it's gonna be pretty harsh as well. So it's gonna be a challenge on the grip strength, but I guess that's good to train from time to time as well. Either way, let's give it a try first off with the front lever touch. I still think I will be able to perform relatively well since I feel good in the body. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm gonna check the forehand. It wasn't the hardest sort of touch, but relatively good in height. And then I hope the angle was alright. I'm of course gonna have a look and then adjust for the next one, but we're up to a pretty good start. I'm happy with the first one. Could have locked the knees just slightly more and a little bit more tilt inwards so I get my upper body slightly higher. But small tweaks, see if I can adjust it for the second one and then pretty much just do the same. Maybe even add 1 second or 2 to the actual hold. Not a clean touch, unfortunately. I thought I was gonna actually hold it to the bar, but slightly under today. I don't know why. Feels good in my body, but just not 100% performing. It is what it is. Let's do one more and just give it all either way. But one more and maybe I can get some revenge. Maybe it was the song that was lacking. And for anyone, before you ask, the playlist is always in the description down below. I always have the link there. Try to add songs from time to time. Now it haven't been crazy updates, but when I do find bangers, that is the playlist I put them on. So if you join now, you're always gonna have access to the music I'm listening to. Probably not the music. I'm doing the best I can, but it feels slightly off, just the hold. Then again, I did record some stuff yesterday. Maybe it took a bit of my body, but the main thing is, though, I show up, do the best I can, and it feels good in the body, which is nice either way. Then, if I perform a few percent better than, or a few percent worse than usual, it's fine. So let's move on. Front lever pull-ups and see if I have a bit more dynamic power maybe. Pull-ups, not too bad. At least all of them were touch. Might have had slightly wrong angle when it came to the body positioning, but the range of motion, pretty on point. Then the hold, not sure about the form. Always after you've done the pull-ups, it's hard to get the nice sort of retraction. So sometimes I drop that one and then the bum sort of drops down a bit as well. But I will have to check, see if I can tweak it for the next set, but pretty good start, not gonna lie. Think maybe slightly worse on the pulling, but I did try to get the hips up on the actual hold. So compensation, but hopefully the hold was better, at least since that's where I put my focus. Fucking gassed out. That was harsh, but could be worse as well. First set definitely really good on the pulling. All of them touch. Relatively clean as well, to be honest, when it came to the leverage. And then the second one, maybe not as good for the pulling, but better holds. And this last one remains a mystery for right now, but the pulling wasn't the best one. The hold felt pretty decent when it came to the form, but hard to tell. Might have been slightly low with the bum as well. But let's move on to a new one, which is gonna be the Victorian. And I'm thinking, let's start off actually with just an attempt on the ground, see where I'm at, and then most likely use some bands to increase the holds a bit for the actual training. And But yeah, maybe not. We'll do one attempt and just see where I'm at. And to update all of you on the free calisthenics masterclass, we are 1,500 people in there, which is just insane. And I recently did a sort of thank you video to everyone in there because it turned out way better than I ever expected it to be. And if you still haven't joined, it is free to join, and just so many like-minded people in there, it's insane. And like I said, it turned out so damn well. So hit the link up here and you will also find it in the description, and join us all on this insane journey. Let's move on. Let's give it a try. Really hoping for a few seconds, but it is hard. And I did do some front lever stuff now before, so slightly fatiguing the back, but fuck it, let's go. Harsh. A band or a easier progression is definitely going to be helpful, or at least for today, because damn, that is unused, or I am unused to this one. Haven't been a while since I did it the last time. It's heavy, especially the retraction. You feel it like the moment I start dropping here, game over. But let's give it a try with some resistance band, or I might move on to this one. If I don't want to use too thick of a band, but 30 kg maximum. And if still the form isn't on point, I'll just go back, do easy progressions pretty much like this one, get the connection right, and then take it from there. One problem I've had with recording is the fact that the cage is just so sort of close and hard to get good angles for the footage. But now I actually found these set of rings that I could just attach the resistance band to. Super plain, clean for seeing form, everything, angles, and no one usually is in this area, so pretty fine for recording as well, without disturbing anyone else. And let's hope. This is the 15 to 30 kg, I'm pretty sure, resistance band. Usually the black color for the color code. And if I can't do a proper hold, at least 6 seconds with this band, I'm gonna move on to an easy progression, because otherwise there's no reason for me to take, you know, the sort of orange band. I think that might be the next step, and that's just way too much help. So let's hope for the best here. Still extremely heavy, but I'll check footage and then make a conclusion if I should continue with this one or do just easier variations. So my conclusion, it was pretty clean for the first 2 seconds, and then I feel like my just hips dropped down too quickly. So what I'm gonna do is give an attempt on the half lay Victorian with resistance band. It might be that my legs are slightly tilted upwards, but in my opinion that's fine. My main focus now is just to get the hips up and that angle a bit longer, time and attention, and get the better hang of the skill. Since it's been a really long time since I did it last, I think I just need to get into the movement as well. So let's give that one a try. Change it up a bit as well. Just wanted to give it a try on the sort of tighter grip. So move them closer together. Felt slightly better. Then again, this width is pretty much competition, so preferably I want to train on roughly the same setup. But I'm gonna have a look as well here as well, just to see if the form was better or if I need to downgrade even more. So I had a look, and I do think this setup is gonna be where I will start off next session. Today wasn't my highest level when it came to the sort of holds, so I do think I can get it slightly better if I'm just a bit more fresh for it. And it felt much better, and definitely just trying to push the hip as far up as possible is going to be the thing to focus on, and not really caring the angle too much, but really retraction, activating those scapulas like never before, and then hips up. If I have those two, it's a really good start, because that's definitely my weak point in the Victorian. Let's move on. We have some weighted chin-ups up next. This is gonna be interesting. 50 kg chin-ups, 9 reps is what I'm doing right now, so that's what I'm gonna try to keep up with. But no chalk, and that's definitely gonna be the most rough part, because the grip is, like, you start to feel the forearms after a few reps, and the chalk is helping you out a bit, putting the strain on the sort of friction instead of the strength. But let's give it a try. Maybe I need to just increase the speed so the time and attention for my grip is slower. Who knows? I guess we'll figure it out after the first one. Massive difference, massive. I'm gonna see if I can get slightly better grip for the sort of mid hand, because now I'm a bit more towards the fingertips. But I feel it, the fatigueness is way faster. That was only 8 reps as well. I'm gonna try to get one with 9, but 8 was hustling. Out. I'm not only gonna blame the grip for this one, so I do feel slightly more tired in the pulling as well. I think I gotta stop jinx it. Every time I say I feel good before the workout, it turns out to be not so good. And every time I just stay quiet, it turns out to be pretty right. So I guess the lesson here is just don't talk, just show the results. That's it. If I can get 8, I'm gonna be happy. If I were to get 9 for some odd reason, I would be extremely satisfied. So I was gonna be happy with 8, and I am. We can keep it to 8, because that is pretty much the limit for actually having the clean reps. That is actually gonna be a wrap. Something I am gonna do this weekend, it is Friday as of when I'm recording this, is the fitness festival in Stockholm. So usually a competition is arranged there, the Beast of the Bars, and I've been competing there all year since 2019. However, unfortunately this year they aren't going to arrange competition, but I'm still going to show up to the event. I'll be there with Celsius, the energy drink, during Saturday, and then Sunday I'm also just going to be there to just vibe. And I will be recording a YouTube video from that day. They have arm wrestling, like tons of challengers there, and I would want to find someone both to teach me the techniques, but then also to challenge someone I think could be really funny, since it's not a sport I'm training for at all, but just a really side effect that calisthenics people usually get, especially for me that is slightly bigger in size. I also have a lot of benefits towards it. And then other things, they're gonna be a park for calisthenics as well. Not necessarily freestyle, I'm not 100% sure how stable it is, but I'm definitely gonna do some combos, some things there as well. So all of this is gonna be in just 1 day and 2 days, of course then. So I am thinking I'm gonna take a break now from the training, not gonna do the lower back thing, and I was also planning on doing the dragon flag, but I will skip it since I'm not 100% strength wise. I just want to save it for this weekend to have a blast then. And I'm gonna share the video with all of you guys here on YouTube, so most likely that is the next video you guys will see from me, and a bit different and hopefully really enjoyable. So hit like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Choo choo!